Hi everyone, Shane here with Shane's Premier League prediction show for match week 33 in the Premier League. The show is back to normal this week, but with one enforced change. Paddy Power is stopped doing the Paddy Power hot shot for the rest of the season, so of course I can't go through that, unfortunately, for the rest of the season. So there you go. Other than that, it'll be as normal as could be, the show this week, and for the rest of the season, hopefully, all going well. So, first up this weekend, Everton take on Liverpool in the early kickoff. Everton had a bit of a chastening experience the last day out against Manchester City. They were basically played off the park in the first half, and they managed to gain a bit of respectability in the second, winning the second half 1-0. But obviously they lost the game 3-1 overall, so they'll be looking to respond well in the Merseyside derby tomorrow. On the other hand, Liverpool have had an excellent week. They went to Crystal Palace and won, and they did a wonderful victory in the Champions League over Manchester City in midweek. I reckon they're going to have another victory tomorrow afternoon by the skin of their teeth. 2-1 victory with goals from Roberto Firmino and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's coming on leaps and bounds. By the way, as a Liverpool player, he's really putting on some excellent shows, as are the rest of the squad. However, Mohamed Salah could be out through injury, so the game could be tough tomorrow, especially with another tough assignment coming up in midweek, as Liverpool look to finish the job in their Champions League quarter-final. But 2-1, I reckon they'll edge it tomorrow. Time will tell. On to Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. Bournemouth had a 2-2 draw last time out against Watford. They have showed some really good fighting spirit all the way through the season, picking up more points from behind, I think, than anybody else in the league. Feel free to correct me on that, but that happened again last week, and Watford really managed to shoot themselves in the foot by handling the ball, as I alluded to in my review show, but that's beside the point. And Bournemouth showed some excellent fighting spirit. As for Crystal Palace, they were very unlucky against Liverpool, to be honest. They should have really got a draw at least from the game, only for Christian Benteke to go and miss two glorious chances. Therefore, Liverpool went and took advantage and won the game 2-1. I reckon Crystal Palace are going to have a good win tomorrow on the south coast. 2-0, I reckon. Wilfried Zaha and Christian Benteke to come up with the goals, as it's about time that Benteke scored a goal, as we all know, if he wants to get into Belgium's thoughts for the World Cup. If there is to be a goal for Bournemouth, I reckon it will come from Callum Wilson or Jermaine Defoe. 2-0, that was my prediction to Crystal Palace. Brighton and Huddersfield, this is a really tough game to call. It's a big relegation battle. It's huge game. I reckon Brighton are going to edge this 1-0, as Huddersfield haven't been in the best of form away from home, despite picking up the odd battling point here and there, and the odd win, of course. They've only had a few, though, all season on the road. Brighton need a victory after after last week's heartache, and so do Huddersfield. But I am favouring Brighton in this one, purely because of home advantage, and I reckon Glenn Murray is going to come up with a crucial goal for the Seasiders, and whoever wins this game tomorrow can nearly start thinking about the Premier League again for next season. So it's a big football match. 1-0 to Brighton is my prediction, with Glenn Murray to score. Leicester and Newcastle. Both teams have been doing okay as of late. They both had victories last week. I reckon Leicester is going to win this one 2-0 with goals from Riyad Mahrez and Jamie Vardy. Newcastle will pick up their points elsewhere in the season running. They're nearly safe now as things go after their good form lately. A win for Leicester tomorrow in their chase for Europe. Really, themselves and Burnley are vying for the spot as long as Southampton don't win the FA Cup, and that's highly unlikely. So there you go. Europa League spot that is, obviously. Right, so on to Stoke City and Spurs. Stoke in big trouble, as we know at this stage, folks. They're having awful hard luck, and they're in the relegation zone, and they've another tough assignment against a rampant Spurs side tomorrow afternoon. I reckon Harry Kane is going to come up with a couple of goals on his full return from injury, along with Dele Alli, and maybe Peter Crouch will score a consolation for the Potters. But another bad day for Stoke, unfortunately, and it's hard to see where their luck is going to turn at this stage. And as for Spurs, they look good for the top four. 3-1 to Spurs. I reckon anyway. Watford and Burnley, I reckon this one is going to be a 1-1 draw. Both teams are in good form lately. However, Watford threw away the points last week, literally, after one of their defenders handled the ball in bizarre circumstances. But there you go. This is going to be a tight-fought affair. Burnley had a good win also at West Brom last week, but as we know, West Brom are in trouble. I reckon there's nothing between the teams tomorrow. 1-1 anyway, with the goals coming maybe from Troy Deeney and Chris Wood for Burnley. On to West Brom and Swansea. I can only see one winner here once again. West Brom are finished, even though not literally, but they are, believe me. And Swansea need the victory to pull themselves away from the relegation zone. I think they're 3 points above it at the moment. They're in good form though, so we're confident they'd come up with the victory. Wilfred Bonney to score for Swansea tomorrow. And West Brom obviously sacked Alan Pardew during the week, so they're in caretaker charge tomorrow as the hunt for a new boss begins. I certainly wouldn't like to be taking the job on for the rest of the season, that's for sure. So the best of luck to the caretaker crew in that case. Right, on to Manchester City and Manchester United. big Manchester derby tomorrow. If City win, they'll win the league against their closest rivals. That'll be a sweet one for them. I think it'll happen. 3-0, I reckon. The goals coming from maybe David Silva, Leroy Sané and Kevin De Bruyne. In a sorry day for Manchester United, but they have to concede. City were the best team all season, and as do every one of the other teams in the Premier League. To be honest, they're just a class act and a couple of levels above the rest. So 3-0 City tomorrow. On to Sunday's fixtures now. Arsenal take on Southampton. Southampton, another side in big trouble. Down there scrapping for their lives in the Premier League. Can't see them getting out of it either in too much of a hurry. So Arsenal to win 3-0 tomorrow, I reckon. With goals from Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, Alexander Lacazette, and Mesut Ozil to put the cherry on the top of the cake, shall we say. In another sorry day for Southampton after their dismal performance at West Ham last week. But when you're in this much trouble and you can see the goal from your own corner against West Ham, then to be honest, I'm sorry for all the Southampton fans, but you don't really deserve to be a Premier League team in my view. So yeah, there we go. That's me putting it as nicely as I possibly can, unfortunately. Along with my various comments on West Brom over the last few weeks, I can't paint it in any better picture. So sorry about that, folks. For all the West Brom and West Ham fans and Southampton fans and the like down there in the near the relegation zone and in the relegation zone. So we'll move on to the final game this weekend. Chelsea take on West Ham. This will be an emotionally charged London derby, especially after the death occurred of Chelsea legend Ray Wilkins during the week there, unfortunately. He was Chelsea assistant coach as well as Chelsea captain for many years, as well as having stints with spells with Aston Villa as coach and Fulham and as well as a good playing career with Manchester United as well. He'll be a big loss, and he was also an excellent pundit as well. So my condolences really to his family, and he was just a great man, to be honest, and really excellent pundit as well. So he'll be missed. So that's it. Chelsea will rise to the occasion on that note, and the goals will come from Eden Hazard, I reckon, and Alvaro Morata in a 2-0 victory against West Ham, who are not fully out of the relegation picture yet, of course. So yeah, 2-0 to Chelsea. Right, on to my fantasy Premier League picks for this week. I've Pope in goal, the Burnley keeper. He's away to Watford tomorrow. Chilwell, I reckon he'll keep a clean sheet for Leicester against Newcastle, along with Martin Kelly and Sacco at the back. In midfield then, I have Mane, Wilfred Zaha, Jordan Ibe and Eden Hazard. And then my front line is made up of Harry Kane, Olivier Giroud and Roberto Firmino. As for Super 6, I think it's just a recap of my predictions I've already given you, really, but it's all Premier League games for this week. So just a quick recap: 2-0 to Crystal Palace against Bournemouth, 2-0 to Leicester against Newcastle, 1-1 draw for Watford against Burnley, 1-0 win for Brighton against Huddersfield, 3-1 to Spurs against Stoke, and 1-0 to Swansea against West Brom, and £250,000 up for grabs here, folks, so it's well worth giving it a go. Have a nice weekend. Take care. If you've liked the show, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment. I'll be back with the review show next week sometime. All the best. Take care from Shane.